Hi, my name is Caroline Boyd Rogers, and today I'd like to share with you my love and passion for reading. Now I want you to take a second and look at that title. All right, now the room of you just made those squiggles and lines mean something to you. In a world that is so divided by language and culture and politics, socioeconomic groups, we can come together and make words out of scribbles and lines, and that can unite us as a world. And so that is remarkable. And so it all started for me really with this series called The Biscuit Books. And what those were was a series of books about a little golden retriever. And I got into it because when I was about 3 years old, my family would spend an hour every day having quiet time. And that was so frustrating when I was little because they would all sit in the living room and they would read their books, and I would sit there going, what is this? I want to join this club. I like this. And so while I was looking, thank you. That's Biscuit, by the way. So my parents were always very good about, if I ever wanted to read, they would drop what they were doing and they would read with me, and they'd give me the tools that I needed to really enjoy it, which today I feel like so many teenagers just dread reading, and for me it's never been that. It's always been a world of escape. But when I was 3 years old, I decided that Biscuit was no longer enough, because I realized that at the dinner table, they weren't talking about what Biscuit would do next. They were talking more about Harry Potter, the series of my childhood, the world that is probably my favorite to escape to. When I was younger, I idolized Hermione Granger. And so that led me to do and strive to be very good at school. And when people would call me a nerd for sitting at recess reading a book in the corner, I would always take that as a compliment. They said that I was smart enough to be like my hero, Hermione. This is also when I discovered the world of fan fiction, because before the whole series had come out, nobody knew it was happening. So people all around the world were gathering on the internet, and they were publishing how they wanted the story to end. And there was this whole little community of people doing these things. And my family would go to like Barnes & Noble or Borders at midnight when the next book would come out. And it was amazing to me, being so young, that you could go and talk to anybody. Everybody was approachable because everybody was there for the same reason. And that was because they were going through this journey just like you were, through this series of books. They were coming together. And I was so inspired by that in 4th grade, I developed a book club that I called the Literati Society. And what that was is anyone could join if they read James Patterson's Maximum Ride. And it was great. We would meet at recess. 10-year-olds gave up their recess one day a week to talk about this book. And we had so much fun. We delegated different character names to each of us. And so I was Max, since I founded the group, and Max was the leader in the book. And even today, some of these kids go to high school with me here now, and I have to refrain from calling them by their 4th grade character names in the halls. So that is great for me, and it's also the age when I started really liking controversial books, because I decided that the books that society wanted to ban or monitor really reflected the most about modern day society, our modern world. What are our world's insecurities? That was reflected in the literature that people found so controversial. And so I also am really inspired by Shakespeare, because when Shakespeare was writing his plays, I don't think he realized that while he was writing for, all of Europe, he was also writing for a 16-year-old girl in her English class in the year 2012. How remarkable. Literature is like a time machine. Shakespeare's no longer alive, but what he decided to write down one day still lives among us. I mean, how many of you have read Shakespeare? Anything by Shakespeare? Congratulations, you're now in the Shakespeare Club. See that? I just totally networked a whole group of people based on the literature that a dead man wrote years and years ago. I'm a gymnast. That's one of my biggest passions throughout my childhood. And some of you may have heard of this gymnast. Her name was Nadia Comaneci. She was the first to ever score a 10 for perfection in the 1976 Montreal Olympics. And so, me being the nerd that I am, I didn't want to just do gymnastics. I wanted to know everything about it. I wanted to know the history. I wanted to know where it was going. And so when I did that, Nadia was easily an inspiration, and I picked up her biography. And the quotes that a girl that grew up in Romania, not speaking the same language that I did, who was my age in 1978, have inspired me every single day I go to practice. Gymnastics is a mental game. So much of it is standing on 4 inches of wood up in the air and going, all right, this is crazy, this is stupid, I might break my neck, but you know what? I'm going to push past that feeling and do it anyway. That's what she inspires me to do. And so every year I go to a gymnastics camp called Bella Crowley's. And this summer I was sitting on a bunk the first day, and I was reading a book, and a girl came up to me and commented on it because she had read it too. And in 5 minutes, I became best friends with this girl from Dubai that I'd never met before. And we had the summer of our lives. We had so much fun together. We still talk to each other sometimes. And it's great that by just seeing what I was reading, we could click so fast. And so really what I wanted to put is that, well, all of these people are going through this experience and can share that together. It's personal. You go to the movies and you have a scene laid out for you. You have the characters. The movies are great, don't get me wrong. But you don't get to create those characters in your mind. You don't get to create what this scene looks like. When you're reading, it's personal on a level that is so different because it's between you and an author. It's between you and someone who decided to write down all of their thoughts and ideas, and y'all have connected. She is guiding you through her world, but you have to imagine it. You have to envision it. It broadens people's minds and opens them up to new ideas. But at the same time, it is making our minds so much bigger. It's making our world smaller. And I mean that in a way that our differences no longer seem so big, and they seem much easier to overcome by the work of literature. Thank you very much.